Mic check.
When I was to you, I knew you were the one for me.
Come through, dig the
I
sound.
swear the whole world could do you empty.
Crowd around. I used to cop a lot, but never cop no drop. Hold mics like ponytails tight and bobble ops. Stop, stick around, come through and dig the sound of the fly brown 6060 cycle. Who throws a dick around? Bound to go through flat. Empty, destroy rap. It's an intricate plot of a people
Yeah.
strapped. Fem stack cats get kidnapped.
Yeah, this is a hot mess.
Yeah.
Are we starting? Is this
Yeah,
the thing?
yeah,
Is
yeah.
this-
We'll just go right into it.
Yeah, I am like if I don't get 8 hours, I'm not functioning kind of person.
Same.
You know what I mean? Like it's the only time my brain can turn off. And so sleep is so important to me. So the fact I didn't and then did the show last night, I was like, I thought I was just going to be a delirious mess, but I guess I faked it well. So
You did good. You had fun, right?
it was fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
That room was fun.
Was anybody else down from Georgia that you knew?
Yeah, it was the Atlanta takeover. So my friend Khalil, Mareg, Jeremy, I can never say his last name. It's like Bertadrioni or something.
Something
just
Italian.
Something Italian. Jeremy B.
Yeah, that works.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, but you got Milk District tonight, and then you're doing Pineapples Tuesday, right?
That's is it Moon Room?
Moon Room, yeah.
Okay, yeah. I don't know what any of.
Yeah,
these
it's just it's a restaurant, and then the second floor is Moon Room.
Called the
So
Moon
it's like
Room.
a stage.
Makes
They
sense.
do like a bunch of events up there, but I love that room.
Okay, I
It's
met Eric last night. And
Eric Erlacher, yeah.
and his wife Melissa.
Yeah.
Very nice people. Yeah. She was like that person. I don't know if you've experienced this yet, but like when you're like kind of indifferent about how you did, you know, like on a set, and then you're like, it's not that I like thought I ate shit, but like I can cuss on this, right? Like I can say bad words. Okay, great.
You can say anything.
And so she said after, like, she's like, that was really good. And I'm like, if I feel like if I connected with just one person, like I've had girls follow me in the bathroom just to tell me that they liked my set. And I'm like, that's worth it. Like if one person likes it, then I'm happy. So, anyway. But
yeah, no, I feel the same way.
she was super nice.
So where originally in Florida are you from again? I don't remember.
So a funny story. I was born in Fort Lauderdale. So I was like, West Palm Beach technically. So I was born down this way, and my mom grew up in Fort Lauderdale. She was a cop in Hollywood. So like South Florida is where we're from. But I grew up in Central Florida, like near Leesburg, the Villages. We were like an hour and a half away from each coast in Orlando. And then I moved to St. Pete and Tampa area. And then I was there for like 10 years.
Okay, 10 years. So majority of your adult life, pretty much.
Yeah, I was there for college. I went to Tampa for a year to this like busted art school that wasn't like a real thing. And then I had to move back home, and so then I moved to St. Pete to go to USF. And yeah, I was there for 10 years, and then moved to Atlanta a couple years ago.
What year did you start comedy?
It feels like I'm lying when I say this, but it's 2013. That was the very first open mic I did. And I started an open mic and I popped in and out, but like it's been like a decade. So there's definitely been years where there's been lulls because COVID, you know.
Things happen, yeah.
Relationships, jobs, but yeah, on and off for like 10 years.
Yeah.
11 now. I don't know.
Yeah. So it was St. Pete and Tampa you mostly did comedy.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yep.
What was the scene like back then?
Very bro-y.
Yeah.
I was actually just talking to a girlfriend in the car about this. She's in the Atlanta scene with me, and I'm just so grateful for the little girl gang that I have up there, because it's like any show, half girls, half guys, you know, it's like, it's a great mix. And then like last night I was like the token girl, you know, and you almost feel like you have to bring this like, I don't know, it's like a different pressure where you feel like you can't be as authentic to your stuff because you're like, oh, I'm the girl on the show, so they're expecting girly things from me. Like, does that sound dumb? I don't know how to.
No, I can understand that. And I think it's kind of an overall culture change, not just in comedy. Because like I've noticed since I've started, everyone's super, super supportive. And reading, you know, I studied a little bit before I even got up on an open mic. I was just listening to advice from like professional comedians online. And a lot of the stuff you hear is like, oh, well, like they mostly talk about like New York and LA, like the comedy scene, like you get pushed away, like people, you know, which there is a little pushback to begin with, I feel like in every scene. But like once everyone gets comfortable to know you, like they're super supportive. But it wasn't as aggressive as I thought it was going to be. So I expected it to be like super aggressive, but every scene I've been to so far has been like, you know, mostly great. I mean, a couple things here and there, but
I think the times have changed too, just like as time's gone by, where you are seeing a lot more, especially indie underground comics that are female. So it's like, I think people, I don't know, it's like the whole scene's just progressed in a different way. You know what I mean? Like, and so I don't know, it doesn't feel so like us against them, but it's funny when I do come to a different city where it's still like limited, like on girls, I'm like, you could feel it, you know what I mean? But, and then the support, to your point, being new in a scene, because I had to start all over in Atlanta. Like I wasn't big enough in Florida for people to like know me. I mean, I had some friends from Florida that went to Atlanta, so of course I knew them, but like, yeah, I met a ton of people in like 2017 to 2020. I ran a room, a mic and showcase and stuff. So I met a ton of like touring people. But again, some people get out of it. You know, it's like seasons of it. So if you're not super consistent, you fall out of touch with people. So it was weird getting started all over. And yeah, the girls were super supportive. Guys are so wishy-washy, you know, like
it's up and down.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because I think they're like intimidated to talk to a girl. You know what I mean? Like, and I don't know. And then I'm not being an asshole when I say this. The majority of the scene up there, I swear to God's autistic. And they talk about it on stage all the time. But like,
Yeah.
when I realized that, it was like that moment. I'm like, they're not being assholes to me. They just don't know how to make eye contact.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, they can't. Not that they don't know how to, but because I'm ADHD and I'm sure I'm on the spectrum if you dug into it, you know what I'm saying? But like, yeah, I kept thinking everyone was just like assholes. I'm like, oh, the cool kids club, whatever. And it's like, oh no, everyone's just socially awkward as fuck. Like that's just how it is. So.
Yeah, I think I've started to realize that too, just traveling so early. I'm noticing because it's almost like I'm getting to be new in different places in such a short period of time. So I totally get where you're coming from. Yeah, it's interesting to see it, just to watch it all unfold as you stay around and hang around. But everybody is, once I get to know people, it's like, all right, like we're cool.
Well, we have common ground. Comedy is the one venue that will bring, because it's like coworkers. Like, you know how you'd be like best friends with some like middle-aged guy, Gary, you know, in the warehouse. You're like, if it wasn't for work, I wouldn't be friends with this person. Comedy does that, where it brings just every walk of life together. And the one common thing we have is this art form, but we all kind of see each other and get each other on that point. So
yeah, no, for sure. The one thing I just try to stay away from is the trash talk stuff, because you know, and you're like in a circle with people and you just start hearing things and you're just like, I don't want to hear this. Let me just block my ears. I mean, I get like we're all human and we have judgments. So when you're with your close friends, you know, but like the openly talking about it in front of a bunch of people, I'm just like, I can't with that stuff. I literally close my ears like a toddler and I just go,
Okay. Well, of course, I wanted to make a joke, be like, we're not talking trash on this, because that's what I thought this whole podcast was. Let's talk shit. A couple thoughts. So first thought is, when people in the scene in Atlanta do roasts, they consult with one another and make sure that they don't bring anything up. Like they almost like pair up. So it'd be like you and I roasting each other, and it's like, hey, let's meet up and write, and we'll write these jokes, whatever. I come from a more savage scene in Tampa where we would just show up to some grungy bar and just go in and like, that's a roast, you know what I'm saying? And so it's like, so in some ways I'm like, I wish people kind of did talk more shit. You
with
know
that,
like,
yeah.
But that's I volunteered for this kind of setting, because when the person on stage doesn't know, the jokes land better when the person doesn't know what you're going to say. But if they already know what you're going to say and they already have a rebuttal for it, it's like, I don't know. I feel like
it's almost like scripted kind of. And so, I mean, you're still making, so I totally agree. I'm doing a roast Sunday in Orlando, but I totally agree with that. Like there's a line when you're like, you know, when somebody's like talking trash, but you know, when somebody's joking, and that's like, I'm all for, you can call me a whatever you want, a bitch, a hoe. I don't care. I ain't gonna get
You know what's so
offended.
fun? Oh, well, so on stage, I'm fat, unfunny, wear too much makeup, which is hilarious when I don't wear makeup, So it's like, what?
That's
But
funny.
that is true. It's either like 12-year-old boy or like drag queen. There's like no in between for me. But, and then, yeah, I'm a whore. I'm not funny. I am fat and I'm not funny, I guess, They just like had to lay into that. So that would be all the jokes. So there would be no surprises whenever I did roast because
Yeah.
you have to do like a lot of physical stuff so that people in the audience like can be on board with it too. But what I will say is the minute you're not on stage, my buddy came up to me. He's actually in Atlanta too now. And he's like, yeah, I was in between like saying something about nestling on your huge boobs. He phrased it funny. And he's like, or your fupa. And I'm at the bar at this point. We're done with the roast. I already got called names on stage, whatever. But I was like, that is my biggest insecurity is my stomach. And I'm just like, my food. So I'm like, it's funny when it's on stage. It's not funny now. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Shut up.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
the whole like I can understand asking someone ahead of time like, hey, is there any like don't go there kind of things?
Yeah,
and it's like,
yeah.
because a lot of us do know each other's personal lives and
Yeah.
stuff. So like I understand that part. But as far as talking shit, I wish I didn't know some of the things I know. Like Tampa, that was another thing that killed the scene for me. I mean, you find out who's a sexual predator, who's rapist, who, and a lot of times it's everybody's favorite fucking guy. And the guys will be like, weird, he never raped me. And I'm like, yeah, because you're not his type, Billy Joe. You know what I'm saying? Like the fuck. And so, and then when there's so little girls in comedy, it's like, you don't feel like you have the support in that way. Like when you walk into a room, like, okay, is it going to be just a bunch of dudes and then me? And then no one believes you, which, is another part of it. Thank God I haven't experienced any of that. But trying to support or stand up for the right thing has been hard because, like, with comedy, I'm like, to your point about the trash talking, I'm a human first. Like, I think I'm a good person first, and a comic, like, that will always come second to, like, doing the right thing. You know what I mean? And so I've been even in a couple circles of, like, just the girl gossip or whatever in Atlanta. And the meanest thing you can possibly say about somebody is to say they're not funny. Like, straight up. Like, I feel like you could go in on them all day. Like, they're the worst person. Fuck that guy.
Yeah,
but if you say, and their jokes suck, or they're not funny, or they're a joke stealer or something, something like offending their comedy, like, is, I think, the meanest thing you could say. And I was in a circle recently and someone said that. And I was like, oh, I can't get on board with that, buddy. Like, I'm not going to go there. I feel like, I can't, like, nod and smile at this thing, so.
Yeah, I think egos, I've noticed egos, I feel like anybody can fall to it, right? But you got to, like, check yourself at a point, like you're saying, be a human first before you're a comedian. And it's like, I've had moments where I'm like, I feel like the shit because I just got off stage, like Madcaps last night. I had a great fucking time. 40, 50 people, packed room. Great. Wonderful. I felt like the shit when I got off stage, but I immediately am like, all right, Alex, you could have done this, and this better. Like, check yourself, because I see how it could be easy to fall into an ego and start, But when you're always talking about other people's comedy and how they're doing, are you
worried about your own shit?
You should be worrying about your own stuff.
Dude, I love it. No, you're absolutely right. It's like, who's got time to... Yeah, everybody else. Because, again, if they were all killers, they wouldn't be doing local fucking open mics. They'd be crushing it somewhere else. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, yeah, you haven't proven yourself to that point. So who are you to talk shit? I mean, the only thing I will talk shit about is when... I mean, I talk a lot of shit. What am I say? The only thing I talk shit, but I say it to their faces. So I feel like that counts, or doesn't count. But what I was going to say though, is like, even at mics, if I'm running or hosting or whatever, you try to be funny at first, but if, like, I've seen, like, just shit happening in the audience, or, like, there was a comic on stage one time that, like, went and screamed at some girl, like, on the mic, and, like, unplugged the microphone and doing that, like, thought he was being funny, and it was obnoxious, and, like, I, like, kicked him out, and he had a cane. He was like a middle-aged. He wasn't old, but he had a cane because he had, like, he was on crutches first, had, like, foot surgery, whatever, and he was just so annoying, this guy, and he had his cane on stage, and he's, like, hobbling over and, like, yelled at the girl, and then snaps at me to come get the cord to, like, plug it back in. I said, oh, no. I was like, buddy, you gotta go. Then he calls me racist. It was a black dude. And then my buddy, my Asian friend's in the back, and he's like, she's not racist. You're just an asshole. Like, and then I took his cane, and I was like, you take your fucking cane too. And it was, like, embarrassing because I'm like, I'm the host of this show, and I need to, like, keep it together. But also, you're not going to go scream in some lady's face.
Yeah, you crossed the line that you
Right.
should have crossed for sure with that guy, because like he's being disrespectful.
And when you're surrounded by a bunch of pussies, like, sorry, but a lot of male comics are a bunch of pussies. They're not going to do anything. So, like, I'm the one that had to do something. You know what I mean? Like, no one's like, squat up, let me grab this guy real quick. It's like,
Yeah.
I had to handle the whole thing. But I was going to say the one thing I will talk shit about, though, with people's material and stuff is when they do the same fucking 5 minutes every single time I see them. And I understand working on something. I understand getting the tight 5 down. I understand you're going on the road and you really want to get it sealed, but it's like I've known some people for years who have been doing the same shit, and I feel like people could maybe even say this about me. So this is like why I tried to, you know, like write and bring something new like every single time. But like I feel like people think they're getting like brownie points for hitting so many mics each week. They're like, oh, I try to do like 100 a night, and I'm like, huh, good for you, because your shit still sucks. Your performance isn't any better, and your material is the same. And it's just like it's like a hang for them.
Yeah.
Which cool, if this is your socialization, great. But for a lot of us, like, we're looking to be inspired, we're looking to write, we're looking to collaborate, and
Yes.
it's like, I don't know.
No, so I got super lucky. That's super relatable for me because I got super lucky early in. Eric, the guy you met, he actually has played a big part in like some really great advice. So he came up to me, and I'm not gonna like say names, but he was just like, this person has been doing the same set for a very long time. And when he kind of described to me as to how that can like, you know, hold you back a little bit, I was like, oh, wait. So, like, as soon as I heard that, now every time I go to an open mic or even a showcase, I'm always bringing in new stuff, trying to work out new things, because I'm also new in this. So, for me right now, it's about comfortability. I just want to be comfortable on stage.
And that's fair.
And that's why I'm hitting so many. But also at the same time, I do want to work on my writing and get, you know, try to get better. So I try to like write every day, write on stage, like you're saying. So I'm so glad I learned that early on, because I wouldn't want to be stuck in that, you know, like, oh, it feels good, let me keep doing it so it can keep feeling good. But
well, as you know, a lot of mics and a lot of rooms, it's mostly comics. So it's like, if that's your audience too, you know, like, I mean, at that point, like you said, feel comfortable on stage, do your thing. It's for you. It's not for them. But like, also get used to trying to like relate to the room and communicate. I'm not saying change your material completely or pander to people, but I'm saying like comedy. I was just having this conversation with my friend Leah earlier. It's like comedy is a conversation. It's not, you know, improv where you're like looking off into the distance or enacting a play situation. It's like, I'm talking to you, people in the crowd, you know? So it's like, if it's falling on deaf ears or people aren't relating, like, you know, be present, I think is a big thing. Like, be present during your sets. So, shit, you said something, I forgot what it was. It's, I don't know, it'll come to me. Fucking ADHD. God damn it, this is gonna bother me now.
just being comfortable and what?
Oh, first impressions. You're talking about being new. So I feel like people hold on to a first impression of you, especially if it's your first time and like you kill. You're like, damn, like they're natural. They're just good. They're well spoken. They, you know, funny ideas, whatever. But I think the second and third and fourth impression are also just as important, because if people don't see you trying to change or evolve or add or tag or whatever, it's like, oh, there's no growth here. So then I think what happens is people just tune you out every time they see you on stage. So even if there is growth after that, it's like, if you're not working on yourself constantly and people just keep hearing that same stuff over and over again, they're going to think you can't grow or evolve as a comic. And they always see you as this newbie comic. You know what I mean? Like, so...
Yeah, no, I completely agree. And a guilty pleasure of mine is making comedians laugh.
Yes, dude. Yes.
I want to make the guy that is the funniest in the room laugh. That's what I want to do. And I know it's like, it can be it's not like my only goal, obviously, but like when I'm in a room and it's just comedians and it's like 2 people in the front watching me, yeah, I'm going to perform for the 2 people, but I also want to make that guy in the back laugh.
I love that, because it's inclusive of everyone in the room. It's like, again, being present. I'm aware. I'm taking in. It's like social, like, you know, just emotional intelligence. You know what I mean? Like, and yeah, we were talking about this. Again, it's so funny. I just like had this whole conversation right before this, but there was a comic from Chattanooga who came down and did a little mic, and I was like, there were only comics left in the room, and she ended up roasting all the comics that went up, and I mean in a light-hearted way, but it was like, it was cute. And then she got to me and she's like, what's up, girl? And I was like, is she hollering at me? Like, it was so flattering because she like went on at everybody else, and there were some cute girls on the thing, and I was like, me, and so. But I was like, it was so smart of her to use the audience that she had, which was the comics who were sitting there. It's like, instead of, let me just go through my stuff, which she could have easily done. She was present and connected with us. And I remember her for now. It's like that was embedded in my memory. 'Cause I'm like, she knows how to adjust to the room. She knows how to get up here and make everyone feel included and make them laugh. If it's like, even if it was 10 of us and it was just comics left, like she made that work. So what I was going to say though is, if you're making comics laugh, comics are so fucked up. Like, we are the most fucked up people. And so a belly laugh from a comic is going to be a groan from an audience. And like, one of my first like punchlines up top, I like had the whole room last night. It was just like, oh. And to me, that is just as satisfying because I know it's like deranged and fucked up, and I got an auditory, response from everyone. But
yeah, no, it's learning the crowd that's I feel like the next level for me is having material in your pocket to know who you're performing for. It's your material and it's material you want to do, but you can do it for these specific people. Like, I can't wait to get to that level. I know it's gonna take forever, but it's so crazy that like comedy is so fucking complicated. It's so like, it's the first thing I'm like, this is going to take me forever to figure out. I'll probably die before I even figure it out.
I think you were a natural when you came to my mic. It's like, I've even my friends who I see constantly, I couldn't name one of their go-to jokes like right away. You know what I mean? Like and you did the, what was it? Nazi something, whatever about the river.
Suck a Nazi.
Suck a Nazi. Like that. I was like, yo, that was so funny. Like, it just like the fact that like, it's almost like a one-liner, and it's so quick and it came through, but it's like, it stayed with me and it felt original and it didn't feel forced, you know what I mean? And so, anyway, like I appreciate that. I feel like, yeah.
Thank you. That means a lot coming from me for sure. Thank you.
'Cause I mean, I don't know. It's like being memorable, I think, is a big deal. So I think you've got a natural ability to show up in a room. It helps you're not ugly too, and you're like tatted up. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's some people who, not to be mean, but if you're super vanilla, people you just blend in with everybody. Unless either your material or your appearance or something is making you stand out in some way. Which for me, like, being like a thick blonde bitch, there's a few thick blonde girls in the Atlanta scene, and I was confusing. And it seems so fucking racist, but it's like, we're in Atlanta, a ton of black people. So there's a couple black dudes who were like tall, skinny. I'd like confuse them. There was a couple Indian kids who I'd confuse them. And then one time I said that on stage because I confused these two kids. And I was like, yeah, I thought, and now I feel bad. They might not be in it. They're brown.
I feel like everyone does it and nobody's just willing to admit it.
To talk about it. Right. So, yeah, now I feel bad because I'm just like assuming they're whatever, but it's like they're brown boys. There's black boys, brown boys. So there's this one kid years ago who was so nice to me in an open mic, which, being new in the scene, you're so vulnerable putting yourself back out there. I just went through a breakup with a comic who lives up there. Like, I moved up there with him, so I was always afraid I was going to run into him. Like, it was a lot. It was very emotionally like tolling too. And he was so nice to me and dapped me up. He was like, yo, that was such a good set. So he was like one of the first familiar, like, friendly faces and people who was nice to me. Well, there's a kid who dresses similarly, same height, same, and so I confused the two of them. One was not as nice and sweet as the first one. And so I like told this on stage. I was like, and everybody knows the other kid's personality. I was like, so you can imagine my surprise when, this one, I like filmed a set and sent it to him one time, and he just like looked at me like I had 7 heads coming out of my body. And I was like, no, we're friends. Like, I thought we were cool. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just trying to be nice. And then after I did that on stage and I like openly talked about confusing them, and I said, someone was like, I'm not racist. He's like, you're one of the good ones. And I said, to be fair, I said, there's like thick white girls that I confuse all the time up here too. So then that was the ongoing joke for the rest of the night. They're like, it would be a tall, skinny white boy. And he's like, so I'm a thick white girl. And, and like they were taking on the different personas for the mic. But ever since then, he and I are cool. So it's almost like, just be honest and real. And like, I don't know, just be yourself, I guess, is the thing that connects you the most with people, even in a blundering moment like that, where I'm like, I swear to God, I'm old. I said everyone's a 22-year-old thick white girl as far as I'm concerned, and so that was also part of it. I'm 22, it was like a middle-aged guy, but
it's so fun when that happens, when all the comedians start bouncing off of each other
I
and
love
there's like
that.
a theme for the night. It's so fun when that happens.
Oh, my friend Leah, I'm gonna talk about. Let me just marry her already.
She's so fucking funny.
Yeah, I told you. She said hi. We went and got pizza. She said something about boy hole. I can't even say it without it. Try saying it with me. Boy hole.
Boy hole.
Say it 3 times real fast.
Boy hole boy.
Exactly. So anyway, the way she said it on stage was so fucking funny. And like for the rest of the night, boy hole. And my favorite part is when people are outside smoking or talking or whatever, and they have no idea what's going on. And then they come into like the inside joke that we're all in on, and they're not. And it's like, oh, boy hole. And they're like, what the fuck is happening in here? And like, so stupid. But
when you say it, I don't know which hole to think of. Just like...
yeah, your nostrils, your bee hole, your mouth hole, your boy hole, or it could be a hole in the ground you keep your boys in. You know what I mean? Like Silence of the Lambs style. Like it puts the lotion on its skin. That's my boy hole. I got at least a dozen down there.
Oh my god.
We have Taco Tuesday.
Yeah.
They're well fed. It's fine.
Yeah. We keep them down there.
Not the boy hole. That's hilarious. Now I want to kidnap some boys.
I got a fire pit we can turn into a boy hole out back.
Yeah. Well, don't be telling people. That's so funny.
Oh gosh. Yeah.
Now I keep thinking about
That's
boy
great.
hole. Dude.
Now I'm probably gonna be thinking about it all day now.
That's so funny.
That's great.
God. Yeah. And then like being friends with comics, one of my go-to tags, it's from I'll just give him a little shout out. Jarrett Moore, he's to me like one of the best writers in Florida, if not the best. But I don't know all the writers in Florida. I don't like interview them, but
Does he work at Side Splitters?
Probably.
He's from Tampa, right?
Well, so he was from Orlando originally.
Okay.
Or I don't know if he went to school in Orlando, but yeah, he's in Tampa. But
Okay. I was just wondering, maybe I've seen him there, but
you probably have. He he's funny as fuck, but there's some people who like write so well and are so quick that it just goes over audiences' heads. Like, so that's my biggest feedback to people is like, you got to slow down, dude, because you're a smart writer. So people aren't hearing, like it takes a couple beat. I'm guilty of it too. I talk way too fucking fast. I'm not saying I'm a smart writer, but I'll say something punny or stupid or whatever. And it's like, people get it like 3 beats later. You know what I mean? Like you got to let them sit with it for a second.
Yeah.
But, he gave me a tag and I used it last night, and it's just like I think that's honestly one of the only jokes I can think of that I like use a tag from. But the collaboration with comics or playing off each other, like you said, like that energy in the room of like we're all in this joke together, and then it turns into your material sometimes.
Yeah. No, it's really helpful. Like I've had a couple of tags that people have given to me that have worked great, and also with the sitting in it for a minute, I just started learning that. I'm like, really, this whole time, some of my punchlines haven't worked because I didn't just wait an extra second.
Well, literally, because you're so hard on yourself, and it's the opposite. It's like you're like, I'm not funny, I'm gonna fucking kill myself. And it's like, no, bro, if you literally like just chilled for a second, that would have been one of your biggest laughs of the night. It just took people a second to get it. And it's almost funnier because it takes them a second to get it. You know what I mean?
Like just sit in the silence for a second. Yeah, no, it's crazy all the things I'm learning. I'm so glad I get to be surrounded like people by like you. I'm like, I'm so glad you came down here and got to stop by and everything.
You're so sweet. No,
I got to come back up to Atlanta next year.
I have a spare bedroom you can come stay at. Maybe I'll be
Appreciate
balling
it.
it. I'll just get you a hotel room like Julian got me. I was thinking about the sitting in it for a second. I don't know, like, you know how there's like certain unwritten rules, like don't wear shorts on stage, like don't sit on the stool for a 5-minute fucking set unless you have a disability and need to sit down, you know, but it's like, you got to earn the stool kind of thing. I don't know if it's like a bad thing, but I bring a drink on stage every single time, and it is a security blanket for me, which was unfortunate when I did a hot pepper show and I was not allowed to have liquid, but that was a whole another thing. But I always have the drink with me, so when I need a second to pause, I will take a sip and let stuff kind of sit, and it feels natural because it's like I'm having a conversation with you and I stop and take my, you know, it's like I'm a Diet Coke or whatever. It's like as you would with a friend. And then sometimes like I cheat again. My phone is like a security blanket, so I'll have my set up on my notes app like in bold, but I record my set every single time. So like I bring my audio up to record it, and that's the biggest learning thing you can do.
Yeah.
There's been so many nights. It's so funny because like there's comics who are either, and to me, honestly, I think it's like the best ones are the most self-deprecating and fucking hate themselves and think they did so bad. Like you said, the minute you get off stage, you're like, I should have done this, I should have done that, blah, blah, blah. And then there's the ones that like, yeah, I crushed. And you're like, did you though? Because I've never seen you crush a day in my life. So when everybody asked how I did last night, I was like, well, I didn't eat shit. So I felt like, you know, it was okay. But I don't think I've ever been like, I crushed, you know? But the drink thing, if I take a sip of that, then I can kind of glance down at my notes or make sure, you know, like I'm in order, or look at my timer on my phone if I need to see how much time's left, and just like little sneaky tricks to.
Yeah, I do the same thing. Usually, unless I'm doing like a prepared, like I'm doing this set, but like usually every night I always record every single set because I listen to it every week while I'm at work. I'm just like don't listen to that work, but I pop my headphones in and just listen to my sets, and then I do the same thing. I always try to make sure I bring a drink on stage because I get dry mouth up there. But no, I get that. I get where you're coming from on that. But it's like I don't think it's a bad thing. If anything, you're helping yourself develop no matter what you're doing.
Yeah, I have a joke about alcohol, and then it's one of those, it takes a second for them to like get it, and so when I take a sip of the drink, then they laugh because I'm talking about being an alcohol, and then they see me drinking the drink, and it just like adds to it. Not that I'm one for prop comedy, but that's about as far as it goes. Is my beverage that I take a sip out of.
Yeah.
And I'm sure some comics would be like, "That's annoying and you're wasting time," and blah, but like, suck my dick. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Have you what's like one of the biggest shows you've ever done that like stands out to you that was like great? Like you look back and you're like, that's like the best show? Or is it just keep getting the best, like, or like
my best performance, or like the
just like
coolest
the
show
one
I've done?
the one that you've just had like the best experience at in general, I guess, overall? Like, can you think of anything? Or
so what's hard is like the big ones that I like have on my bio that I say big ones, like the things that were big to me, you know what I mean? Like I was on Fest in 2017, and that's like when I got back into comedy and was like really hitting it and actually going to mics and like working on shit, and like because I started in 2013, but I like it trickled in and out, and I ran a mic, like, so it wasn't super consistent. I wasn't always in the scene. So 2017, I kind of got started all over again. You know, it feels like you go in waves, and like I got booked on the Fest that year in Gainesville, and they've got like good comics to go through there. And this actually sticks out as like an annoying thing, but a writer who is a friend of mine, who I look up to, who I like, killer in any room, doesn't matter. Like it could be a baby coffee shop or like, you know, a retirement home. Like he knows his audience. He's so smart. And he looked at another comic and he's like, can you believe she got on Fest? Like disgusted. Like I didn't deserve to be on it, kind of thing. And I did okay. I did, like, I wouldn't say I crushed because I was still like kind of newer. And it was also like an audience of my peers, because it's like a bunch of like elder emos that are at like this punk fest, and they're the ones that are like older and up early because they put the comedy in the beginning of the day, like at this one venue, and then the bands go up later. And so but that was an instance where a girl followed me in the bathroom, and she told me, because I thought I ate shit, because of course I was like, not everything landed the way I wanted it to. I was nervous because like everybody there's just so cool. It's like a sea of black of like, you know, fucking just cool tatted up like punk people. And so anyway, this girl followed me into the bathroom. She's like, oh my God, this one thing. And this is right after Anthony Bourdain died too. And I had a joke about that, which also was a groan. That was one of the like, but if you want to piss off a sea of like, you know, hipster punk kids, talk about Anthony Bourdain.
Right.
Yeah. So again, like those notable things. I also did, I don't think they've booked a comic since then. I was the first and last comic, but Bike Fest in my hometown in Leesburg, where I went to school, I was like the first comic they ever booked. And so I was like emceeing in between like a dueling piano bar. And that's like the highest paid gig I ever had. But boy, was it painful. There was Vince Neil from Motley Crue was performing at the main stage, and that's all you could hear. It was just like, just like a sea of that, and then there's like dueling piano, and then I'm up here to like I didn't get molested as a kid. Let's talk about that. You know, like I worked at a strip club. Like what? And like, and it was bizarre. So it's like, it's funny because the ones that should be notable or whatever, really like the performance wise wasn't super dope. But then, the one that sticks out recently, so the skull is so funny to me. Oh God, I feel like I'm talking shit here. This is gonna be like a death sentence. In Atlanta, I think there was like an improv back in the day, but they closed. So there's not like a main comedy club that's like, the theater, the thing. They're building a Helium, which is I think gonna be like a 300, 400 seater, like a theater. So there's a big room and then there's like a smaller room for smaller shows and stuff. I actually got a bartending gig there, so I'll hopefully weasel my way onto something at some point. But the Laughing Skull is in the back of the Vortex restaurant, and you wouldn't know it passing by that it's there. It's like, and so it's in the back of the room, and it seats like 70, which I love that room. Like the stage is great. The people are there for comedy. They pay, like the tickets aren't super cheap. Like for an open mic, people pay to be there, but it can be very cliquey. It's like, whose dick do I have to suck this week so that I can get on the thing? Like if you've got to email to get on the open, this is an open mic.
Yeah.
This is not a book show. Like this is an open mic. And like, who do I have to email to get on the thing, whatever. And then you wait like a month to even do it. So there's a lot of like, just hubbub around this mic and the things and whatever. And so I did my first one a few months ago there. I've only done it twice, and I did one actually this Monday. And like, again, not eating shit. That's what I call like doing well, for like those mics, because you get a decent recording of it too. So I like got the video. That felt really good, because it's like, especially because comics who are like douchey or elitist, whether they mean to or not, it's like, they just snub you because they're busy, they're running around. I get it. Like I host shows. People probably think I'm a bitch sometimes when I'm just like busy. Like it's not that I'm a terrible person. I just like, I'm freaking out in my own head, But the minute you do well and people like kind of look at you different and like dap you up, or like, it's like, got him. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, especially when it's like a crusty guy. But
yeah, I signed up for the open mic ahead of time when I visited there. I did the open mic. I had a great time. Did good. It was fun. Not like great, but it was good for me. I felt good. The energy felt good. And then I just showed up, just hoping to get a guest spot. Thankfully, they gave me a guest spot, and I just didn't do great. It was rough. And I was just like, but you notice the difference in the responses. Like you were saying, when you're done, you're like, oh yeah, like, you're getting dapped up when you're doing great, but when you're not doing great, but which is like, it's good. Like you don't want people dapping you up when you're not doing great. But I could see how, I mean, I guess living there is different because I'm not in the scene all the time. So I don't know what the true, stuff that's going on over there.
So you've done it twice now?
Just twice, yeah.
Okay. Oh, God damn it. If I keep hitting your microphone. And then I'm like, I don't want to put my shoe on your couch.
You're good. You can do whatever you
want.
However you feel
I'm not going to jump on it like fucking Tom Cruise on Oprah. You know what I mean? But like, it's the ADHD state that you just like got to move and adjust. And okay, we're good. Okay.
I'll adjust too, because I was sinking slowly.
Well, this is a very fluffy yet comfortable couch, but I'm also like, okay, how do I live? Okay. Sitting problems. Am I right? So the skull is the thing. So then there's the Punchline Comedy Club, which is in Buckhead, and that seats, I don't know how many that seats. That's a bigger room. I want to say it's definitely over 100. I would say like 100 and more. But so there's like these smaller kind of clubs, it's like, and it's either one or the other kind of thing if you had any booked people coming through. But like, I cut my teeth on the Improv in Tampa. That place was fucking huge. Like I did my first open mic there in the side room. So it's like, you've got real comics coming off the stage, coming through, it's like, or people who have just watched the real comics, and then now they're looking at your stupid ass on stage. Actually, that sticks out because I did my first one and I did well. And it's funny. It's like the open mics, I think, stick out to me more than shows, honestly. Because normally a lot of shows I'm like running or producing, and it's like, those are always super, super stressful. But doing well on my first open mic, like, ever felt so good. And actually, I did a podcast with my buddy on the way there. He like recorded me like, so you're doing your first mic. How's it feel? Blah, blah, blah. And I started a podcast, or not a podcast, a open mic with that guy, like, back in the day. And I don't even remember what we were fighting about, but he basically tried to push me out of the mic that I helped start with him. And I was such a dick, dude. I owned a shop down the street, like a storefront, and he was just trying to big dick me out of the thing. Like, and he's the one that actually got me started. We met online, and he's like, you're funny. Like, have you ever done stand up? And I was like, you can just go do stand up. Like, I didn't know you just like go do, like, I'm from a small town. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't know you just go to an open mic and do it. I thought like they had to be selected to, you know, from the gods to go. I don't know. I don't
That's pretty much how it happened, right?
Right. And so I never really thought about it because I was like the funny kid. I like did the commencement speeches at school. You know, I was always like doing public speaking. Like that wasn't scary to me. And so, and I was always the funny one. Like, I don't know. I never thought about it. So anyway, so he got me started. So I appreciate him and we're cool now. But we did the podcast thing for the first one. We start the open mic and for some reason he was like kicking me out of it for like, I forgot why or what, but he's like, thanks for your help starting my mic. And I'm like, what the fuck? Dude, I can't tell you how many dudes I've worked with over my lifetime, whether it's like work or comedy or just anything or passion projects, who take your thing and turn it into, or like yours together thing and turn it into theirs. And I mean, you're a woman, I feel like you can relate. It's like that idea in a meeting. You're like, oh, what a swell idea. It's almost like I said it 17 times before. Like,
it's the corporation BS that happens, corporate bullshit that happens. Yeah,
but unfortunately, it happens in just like comedy environments
everywhere.
Too.
Yeah.
So anyway, so the asshole part was I had all my friends show up wearing my shirt. Like I had a shirt for the shop, and so it was just like a sea of like Shannon's. Place was called Shannon's Web. How dumb is that? But it was like a sea of the shirts and like or my stickers or whatever. And it was just like, oh, weird. It's almost like I brought all these people here. It's almost like this whole room's filled with my people. So like, who's coming to your mic? I don't know. You know what I mean? Like it felt so good.
That's funny.
And then there was another time where, because I did eventually leave that mic because I was just like, fuck this. Like, you know, I was running a storefront. I was working like 10 jobs just to pay rent on a store that I had. Like, and so I popped in one night and they were doing a cash prize for like the funniest comic, and I won that night at the mic that I started.
That's awesome.
Oh, did that feel good?
That feels good, yeah.
Especially because I was probably like the only girl on the lineup that night. And I went in just like riffing about, I remember the set was about, I worked for an advertising company that did hotel key card advertising for Domino's Pizza. So it was all just like I was making fun of my boss and like doing pizza puns about like, yeah, she wanted that sausage in her mouth because we went on a trip together and she was being a whore kind of thing. Like, and so, God, I'm being too honest. Anyway, but that felt good. And it was just like, a riffy, I wrote this last minute thing and I won the mic and I started the mic and fuck you.
Yeah, that had to, the euphoria after that has got to be fucking incredible.
Again, I wish ego wasn't a thing because I would probably do so much better or like put myself out there even more because I wouldn't be afraid of failing, I think. But yeah, I can't even think of like a show where I was like, hell yeah, it was the best show ever. Standing ovations.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
I guess the way I could have described it to you better is like where you felt the best energy overall. Just like, you know, you just like this is a great fucking time, you know.
I
like
get
not
that
just
often.
like not just like oh how you did, like you know.
I get that often, especially at the mics I run because I curate like the most fucked up environment, which I guess is like a blessing and a curse. But I ran this room in St. Pete, and it sat like 70 and change, where we'd have people just standing room. So that's why everybody freaking out about the skull. I'm like, I did this in like a basement bar thing. You know what I mean? Like, what, and I'm not saying did this. They have a very clear, obvious production going on that I did not. But you know what I mean? Like as far as capacity, and I booked events there. So I started a thing with my buddy doing like, it was almost like open mic for drag. So it was people who were getting started doing drag performances. And so that ended up being like a big fucking deal. And then on Wednesdays, my open mic was Tuesdays. So I was like booking this entertainment and getting stuff started, and it felt so good. And like, it was in St. Pete where it's just like a bunch of creatives and, you know, just kind of hipster fucks. I don't know. But, and so the dark material would land, you know what I mean? Like a lot of stuff that like, and then people would recognize me around town. They're like, oh, you host that thing. Cause I did it for 3 years, you know? And like, and so that energy was great because it's like, and this is what I'm trying so hard to do with my own comedy is like foster my own audience. Like my friends tell me all the time, they're like, there is a niche for you, like, but you're dark and fucked up. Like you got to find your people. You know what I mean? Like, and my buddy like crushed last night, and I was thinking to myself, I'm like, I got to be more lively. I got to, you know, jump around like all crazy and get people all hyped. And I'm like, but that's not my jam, you know? And so I really think staying true to yourself, like I start thinking of all these other successful comics who don't jump around all crazy. They're either quiet or monotone. It's just their writing that's so good. You know what I mean? Like, and yeah, you just got to do you. But, yeah, I think I usually feel the best energy at the mics that I run.
Yeah, definitely. I still like, no matter how many shows, wherever I do them, like showcases, I love like the hometown mics. They're my favorite because it's like, it's not just like the like family type feel, but it's like, I'm so comfortable up there. I can have such a good fucking time because I'm being myself. Like you're saying, like, it's like learning the mesh of good writing and being yourself is like, yeah, can't wait to get that together.
If I could give any advice to comics ever, it would be stay true to you. Tell your stories. Like the more authentic and because again, you're carving out an identity for yourself that people can, you know, oh, that's that person. Like I said, remembering a joke of yours, you know, it's like that sticks out, but also people can't call you a joke stealer or whatever. You know, it's like, dude, every idea has been done before. Every take on everything that's ever existed has been done before. If I hear one more person call somebody a joke stealer in the scene, I'm like, do they know that some random girl does that same joke in like Oklahoma and open mic? I don't think they do. So I don't think they stole her fucking joke, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And maybe I'm just like constantly playing devil's advocate, but like the more your stories are true to you, like I did a whole thing last night about my family and stuff. And it's just like, no one can say that I stole that, you know, because it's like literally
You're
my
talking
childhood.
about yourself. Yeah. I'm glad I started there because when I started writing, I still try to just to get better at writing. I'll do topical stuff here and there, but like most of my like jokes that I maintain for showcases is like it's always about my personal perspective, things I've experienced and stuff like that. So I feel like I'm glad I'm learning all this stuff early because I hear from a lot of people that people sometimes don't figure that stuff out until later, and it can really like delay your progression. So
I love that you're eager to learn because baby comics do have ego, and I think it's hard because if you're the funny one in the group or you're the witty one or whatever, that's your identity out of like any family function. I'm it. I'm the fun, you know, it's like whatever. But then you enter a room full of comics. It's like you're one in a million in this room. Like everybody here is funny. Everybody's brilliant. They have ideas or can write or whatever. And so, yeah, you just did whatever on stage. Like that might be impressive to your friends and family, but like the people who actually appreciate and write and do comedy, it's like you got to humble yourself and try to learn, try to absorb those lessons. And like, I'm not saying you take everyone's advice for everything, but like what works for some people, what doesn't, because to your point, you're going to beat your head on a brick wall over and over again. And I think this is why a lot of women quit too, because they might be in their head thinking that people are mansplaining or whatever, which sometimes they most definitely are. But if someone's taking the time to tag up your stuff or give you advice or help you or whatever, comics are fucking assholes. They're and not, they don't mean to be, but the social
I know what you mean.
we talked about, they don't have reason to come up and help you. So if unless they're trying to bang you, which also could be a thing, but if they're taking the time to come talk to you or give you advice or try to help you, like take that in. You don't have to use it, but like
exactly,
you know.
I was just talking to a group of comedians the other day, and I'm just like, because somebody was apologizing to me for giving me advice because they're like, I don't want to feel like I'm coming off a certain way. And I'm just like, dude, I listen to everything. I use what works for me. If it doesn't work for me, great. Like, I appreciate your time and I respect you because you've been doing this for a lot longer than me. So it's like, I could never put myself in the position of like, I'm better than you. I've been doing this for fucking zero time. I am literally a baby.
But I love that you recognize that because there are quite literally people in the scene in Atlanta that there's, God bless her soul. I love this woman for doing this. Lace Larrabee puts on this, it's like a class, like a master class, like a Laugh Lab, and there's like different series. And so she teaches a ton about stand-up, but also like script writing. And she's got all these graduates. And if it wasn't for her, there wouldn't be so many girls in the scene. But I think some people are like, well, I did the thing, like as if it like now it makes them a Harvard graduate. So like, well, but it's like, yeah, but you still have so much to
Yeah.
learn and do, or
Mhm.
the 5 minutes that maybe Lace helped you write in her class, you can't lean on that forever. You've got to evolve past that. And I've seen some of these people get so like, and this could be in musicians, you know, it's like if someone learned from an apprentice or something, they're like, well, you know, whoever,
Yeah.
like, you know, like
Yeah.
Mr. Perfect taught me this, or I, whatever. It's like, okay, great. But there's still so much to learn, you know, it's like, and so there's people who have only been doing it for a few months and they think that's a long time. And they're like, well, I've been doing it for like 3 months longer than this girl. And I'm like, and you know what I mean? Like the fuck,
Jeez.
talk to me in 10 years. And that's another thing. Somebody said to me recently, cause they heard me talking about the decade thing and stuff. And it's not that I talk about it thinking that I'm better or that I like know more about comic or that, you know what I mean? Like I'm a better comic. It's that I know more about having your soul crushed and ripped from your body.
You've been
over
through
and
all
over
this
again.
shit. Yeah.
And
Yeah,
the ups
yeah,
and
yeah.
downs of it,
Yeah.
and boyfriends who I've dated who like made me want to give up on it because they made me feel so small and so shitty for doing that. Like comedy has been such a push and pull thing, but I've always had it to come back to. So it's like, talk to me about your ego and your feelings and whatever after you've been doing this for 10 years. You know what I'm saying? For
no,
now,
100%. Yeah, it's almost like when you see like in businesses like where you have like people that just graduate school, like they, you know, got their 2-4 years and they come straight into a corporation and they think they know everything because they got this, you know, and I'm just like, well, you got to work in the real world. The real world is
It's
very
different.
different from college. You're not, I mean, you're sleeping with your coworkers sometimes, but I'm not. You gotta, it's yeah, it's just a lot. It's a lot. I guess people just don't have awareness, I guess. I don't know if they just don't, I don't know.
But what's funny is almost like they come full circle where they're hyper aware. You know what I mean? Like where they're like offended because like you were saying that somebody apologized. The reason they're apologetic is because someone has literally gotten offended that they tried to help or do or whatever. And I noticed that I do that too now. I'm like, I'll ask people like, hey, are you open to tags or is that annoying to you? Because everyone's got their method, whatever. But like back in my day, it's like you just walk up to somebody after. If somebody's hyped on your joke enough to walk up and be like, bruh, what if you said this? Or what about that? Or like, I was waiting for like you to go in this direction. You know, it's like, that's a compliment to me. That's, I don't take offense to that. You know what I mean? So that's one thing I will say about like, I love like the wokeness and the acceptedness, whatever, but you almost come full circle where you're not accepting anymore because now you're so offended that someone tried to help you because you think that they're like putting you down or, you know, being elitist about something. I'm like, no, that person's an asshole. If they took the time to talk to you, be flattered by that. You know what I mean? Like
100%.
they came to you for a reason. Like, I don't know, dude. The interpersonal side of comedy is, unfortunately, I feel like 80% of it. You know, it's like the whole showing up thing. That's the showing up part. And then 20% is like being on stage and actually doing it. You know, you've been to mics. You sit there for 3 hours to go up for 2 minutes. And it's like, cool, there it is. The rest of it, I just had to not kill these fucking assholes outside that are annoying as fuck. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. No, I feel that. And it's like, I mean, people should be able to say anything when it comes to comedy. The only thing I don't agree with is discouraging someone to not do comedy because I've seen that too. And I'm just like, I feel like everybody, like, even if you're not good now, like, you can keep trying. You can, I mean, like, I get like some people that are just like not built for it, I guess, but I'm not that experienced to even see that yet. But I've just seen some people get discouraged when they've just started. And I'm just like, no, like, I mean, people have encouraged me, but like, I don't know. It's just unfortunate to see like some people just like, yeah, say anything to that person. But I feel like just discouraging them right off the bat and kind of, I don't know, maybe I'm.
God, that's awful. I'm trying to think if I've ever heard anybody be like, yeah, I don't think this is for you.
But like, that's the thing is the balance. Like, we don't need to live in a society where everyone's got to worry about everyone's feelings. Like, you should not have to worry about, like, you should be able to be yourself. Obviously, don't be a dick.
Right.
But yeah, I feel like that's the lowest is just like tell someone to stop doing comedy. I'm just like,
That's what I was saying earlier about like the meanest thing you could say is just like, you're not funny. And that's basically what it boils down to is like, you're not built for this, which I've seen so many different approaches and people go in their own direction, even if like it feels hacky and it's like, oh, it's just some hot girl with her tits out talking about her sex life, womp womp. There's a place for
There's
that.
fans for everybody.
There literally is, because that's the girl that you want at like maybe, you know, the vanilla middle-aged dinner club that like they just want that bubbly person that can get the laughs out of whoever. You know what I'm saying? Like, there is literally a place for everyone. Like, I know my stuff's dark, and like when people are like, oh, well, you need to have a clean set. Probably that's the one advice thing that I roll my eyes. I'm like, ugh. But then I look back and I'm like, I really do have stuff that if I just like didn't say fuck a million times, you know what I'm saying? Like, it would be clean comedy. So I technically do, but a lot of my material and subject matter is like dark or fucked up, you know? And so, I kind of always told myself, like, it's not like I'm going to get, you know, to do the Jimmy Fallon like spot. It's like, I don't know, but there's something for everybody. You know what I mean? It's like, who's to say that there's.
Yeah, that's another reason why, like we were talking about earlier, like watching stand up. Like when I don't like watching stand up on Netflix because I don't want to talk shit about people that have made it from my house. I'm just like, they've done it. They've done it. I don't care how, like you're saying, like like they did it.
Dude, when people like talk shit about Matt Rife, I'm like, the crowd work thing, whatever. For one, people don't understand fucking comedy. For one, he's posting crowd work clips over and over and over again because he doesn't want to burn his material. It's like the minute you post your jokes online, why, you know, it's like you're burning through your shit. People know it and they're paying to come see you and they're like, oh, well, he does the same material he puts online. It's like, okay, so that's why he posts, because you can't reproduce that crowd work moment, you know? And it's like, and also, to me, seeing the crowd work stuff shows that he can write on the spot. And like his stuff isn't always like low hanging fruit. It's like sometimes it's like, oh, that was quick. That was witty. Like, how did he get there? And yes, he's super fucking attractive and everybody wants to bang him. You know what I'm saying? But like, I feel like dudes hate on him so bad because he's hot, but then he also is fun. You know, it's like, and to your point, he made it though. Like, he's doing it.
Right. And so, he's been doing it since he was a teenager. I mean, like I watched, I think it was his Rogan episode I was watching, but I actually listened to him. I'm just like, oh shit, like he's been working for years. Even though he's young, he's been working on this shit for years. This is what he wants. And I'm just like, fuck yeah for him. I mean, like, for anybody that has a special anywhere that's fucking doing comedy full time, I want to be like you one day.
For real though, for real. I also had to come to terms with like this lifestyle. I was joking with you earlier about how like I got a hotel room and now I'm on a podcast. I feel like a real comic, like whatever. But this lifestyle is so hard. And so you really have to do it. Like my friend sent me a thing about like this Venn diagram of like your passion. What you would do is what you would do for free mixed with, you know, I don't even know, something you do in your spare time or whatever. And so I'm probably totally fucking that up. But you know what I mean? It's like you have to really want to do this. And yeah, I feel like I had to come to terms with like my life is going to look different than my friends who are married with kids who have their 401ks. And, you know, it's like you really have to take a leap of faith, especially financially when you're trying to go on the road and do things. It's like people grind to just get for you to even know their name. So it's just funny. Yeah, it's funny when people talk shit about that.
No, like as soon as I got off my first open mic, I literally got home and I looked my husband dead in his eyes and I said, I'm doing this for the rest of my life. I'm like,
that makes me want to cry. Why am I getting emotional right now?
The euphoria that I felt as soon as I got off, I was like, it was literally like doing heroin. What I imagine it would be like, I was like, something in my head was like, Alex, this is your path now. My whole future, like my vision, like, you know how you like see your future? I'm getting goosebumps right now.
I'm like literally tearing up as you're talking. Like, why am I such an old?
But it's like I saw my whole future change, and I'm just like, I'm so thankful. My husband's so supportive. Like, he helped me with all that. You're not here to cry.
I swear to God, after I turn 30, I like cry at the drop of a hat, and like you're getting me emotional right now.
I'm sorry, but
no, it's in a good way. It's a good thing.
Yeah, it's just like when you're saying like if you really have to want this, it was almost like this was forced into my life. I was like, wait. I never thought I was going to do comedy. I watched comedy my whole life, you know, watched movies, and I was like, what am I doing? And I'm just like, oh, this is what I'm doing. There's no other path for me. This is what I'm supposed to do. It's like, it's weird. It's like God, something is in my brain is like, Alex, hey, wake up. It's time right now. I'm like, what the fuck? Okay. But it's weird. It's crazy experience to go through. And I'm sure you felt all these same things. But.
Bro, I'm having a moment right now. So I'm into like super woo witchy shit. Like, and I've been going through a time. I got let go in February. I've just been trying to find my way. I went to school for, I have a bachelor's and I've done marketing for like 15 years, but I hate corporate marketing. I hate that. again, being yourself. You can't be yourself in those environments. And if you are, you get fired. So, I'm super neurodivergent, which there's, you can put the check mark that you have a disability all day, but no one's working with you on accommodations or, work from home schedule. It's just like, it's a nightmare. So I have been trying to find myself in these last few months. I went to school for health and wellness coaching at Emory up in Georgia. And I was like, I felt that kind of light up feeling about that with helping people, like having, these coaching moments where I'm helping other people believe in themselves. And I think that will always be a part of what I want to do in the world. I want to give back, especially women, and encourage them and help them. But what's funny is how I'm like the last to receive that treatment. And comedy has always, like I said, it's just always the thing I come back to. And I'm like, as you were talking just now, I'm like, holy fucking shit. I've been taking that for granted. And I also, even just in saying, it's not like I'm going to be on the Tonight Show. You know what I mean? I put myself down so quickly because of those moments, like my friend saying, can you believe she got on Fest? Because of my boyfriends. Oh, you're going to go do the laughy, jokey joke, huh? I don't understand why you're always out at Mike's. I don't, those people aren't even funny. This is just like constantly talking shit. Even like the dude who I dated, who was a comic, he would give me shit about like, oh, my stuff not being clean, or you got to do this, you got to do that, which he's the most fucked up human being. So it's so funny that, oh, you do your clean material. But I took all my videos off like YouTube and stuff because I didn't want to embarrass his family talking about sex and cussing and whatever. And the people pleaser in me has put it down so much. Like my mom, who has had to help me out when bills are tight or it's like, and she is really supportive, but people still don't fully understand like the grind, and then also the reward, though, what can be on the other side if you stick it out. And now with all these different platforms, you can have a podcast, you can, it's like you can be on the road, but you can also do stuff on the internet. And there's so many avenues that you can take as a comic and as a writer. And for you to find that so early on and have that like burning desire within you to know that's, I feel like for the last decade, I've just been like trying to find my path and my way, and comedy was just always my best friend next to me that I kind of took for granted. You know what I mean? Why is that making me emotional?
No,
Why am I
it's
crying?
like,
Oh, Jesus Christ.
No, it's I mean, like, just it's awesome. And like when you talk about like the giving back, like, and you want to like help people and stuff, I'm a people pleaser all the time because I have a really guilty conscience for no reason whatsoever. I don't know what it is.
It's
Maybe
your
how
boy
I was
hole. They
raised.
know that you're
It's
keeping
my
boys
boy
in the
hole.
backyard.
They found him in my backyard. God damn it.
Oh my God.
No, but it's just like that's all I want out of this is to be able to do comedy, help my whole family out, pay off all their shit, pay off all my shit, buy everyone houses, take care of people, and like help you. All I ever wanted to do growing up was just be nice and try to help people. And I know that sounds fucking gay. I'm not a good person. I do shitty shit sometimes, but it's like, if I had the capability to give back, like that's all I want. I could die happy if I was able to help everybody out.
Side note, I love that you just called it gay. The gays are taking back calling shit gay on the stage. They say all that, like they're like, that shit's gay. And I almost said it earlier, and I was like, oh, and I'm glad you're like, yeah, sappy emotions. We're gonna call it gay. I love that. So yes, gay. Help people. You hit a note on that. So the dream, just to buy a fucking cul-de-sac, dude. Everyone's getting houses. Like you got a house, you got a house. You know what I mean? Like a lot of the pain and hurt in both sides of my family have come around death and inheritance and money and fighting and greed. And it's just like, if everybody was doing okay financially, none of this would be an issue. And to me, money's just energy. It's an exchange of, energy, but we put such a weight on it all the time. And it's like, all I've ever wanted to do is just take care of everybody so that like everybody can get along. I mean, people still fight about stuff because people fucking suck. But like, I want that so badly. Like mom's got the house, brother's good. Like I with the health and wellness stuff, do a lot of like, because it's coaching, so it's like a lot of visualization and whatever, and I just like imagine this like huge house, that like anybody whoever needs to be there could be there, but like mom's down the street, I bought her something, my brother's living in the guest pool house in the backyard, and he comes and goes as he pleases, and I just like want to take care of my family and my people.
I think we probably come from a similar place for sure, because it's all I've ever thought about probably since I was like just a preteen, maybe. As soon as I kind of knew what money was, I was like, oh, this would solve a lot of issues. But
So what's hard though is pursuing this dream feels so selfish when
Mhm.
your motivations at the end of the day were actually to help people and to do something. And right now I'm feeling that pressure if I got to go back to a corporate marketing job because that's the only thing that's going to provide any kind of substantial money. And the substantial money is just enough to take care of me. It's never going to be enough to take care of everybody, you know? And it's like, so you kind of do have to take this chance to like go wilding out to like be able to take care of everybody. And so, but it's this constant struggle. Like it feels selfish for like, for you to pursue something for you, but it's not just for you, it's for everybody else too at the end of the day, you know? And
it's just long-term payoff. And, you know, you're, I mean, I guess some people get the short-term payoff, but it's like you're risking, go ahead, risk it. Because like you said, what are you going to stay in this corporate job and then be able to provide for your kid? And then like, you know, you can't really provide for the rest of your family.
right.
So
Like
I feel
exactly
that.
like you and yours, like that's exactly it. But going beyond that and helping people beyond that. So when I was doing the health and wellness coaching, I kept saying, I was like, I'm going to be the white Oprah, you know what I mean? But like, I love this. Like I came from my actual degrees in mass comm and journalism. So, but then everybody sells out and goes to marketing because poor journalists don't get paid shit. So, but I was like, how can I do this in like an entertaining way, but like help people way? And like, because I love self-help shit. That's like all I ever read is like self-help improvement books and stuff and witchy shit. But that's all around like, again, improving your life, you know? And I'm like, how can I make an impact on the greater good? And again, on the woo-woo front, every tarot card reading, every like spread, it's like, it is constantly pointed to like you have a way of bringing the masses together. Like, you know, like you bring, I'm like, I should be a fucking cult leader, dude. Like all
You can
day.
form your own path.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe I do need to form a cult. I think that could work out.
We can start with the boy hole.
The
in my
boy hole.
backyard.
We keep them in there. The girls can be out of the boy hole. But
Yeah.
yeah. And so again, finding your audience. So it's like, I feel so energized and seen and understood. And like, I can do this when I'm around supportive people. And so I just watched a TED Talk on this the other day because self-help, but it talked about confidence is fostered by community. A lot of people are like, oh, you need to have more confidence in yourself. Well, if everybody's fucking putting me down constantly and doesn't give me room to foster or grow or a path or a stage or whatever to try, like you said about people discouraging other people, it's like, how the fuck am I ever supposed to be confident enough to actually show up over and over and over again? And it's hard. It's hard, especially like, again, being like one of the only girls in the room, or, you know, half the guys want to fuck you and they're mad that you did fuck them or that you won't fuck them, or, you know, it's like whatever. And everyone's talking shit constantly. That's kind of the environment I feel like I came from. So being supported in the Atlanta scene makes me feel like it's possible, but it's hard to like have this confidence in yourself. And when my life's not together, I'm like, how the fuck am I going to inspire others and like help other people get their shit together when I'm winging it right now, you know?
Yeah, I get that. It's but it's like, it's, you know, we're technically not being selfish. I feel like, you know, I feel like we have to have like confidence and that no fear to just like keep fucking pushing no matter what happens, you know?
A big thing that I have come to realize is helping people doesn't always have to be a financial thing. It's like emotional. Actually, I pulled a tarot card the other day, but it was talking about like charity, and it said that you're in a position of giving back. And I was like, I feel like I'm a charity act. And it literally said, like, it was a page that kind of described the card and what it meant. And it said below that, like, charity isn't always your currency, like a money thing. It's like, it can be your time, it can be your energy. And I was like, wait, holy shit. And I just looked back at like 3 conversations I had with 3 girl comics who were just like in their feelings or thought somebody was mad at them in the scene or this or that. And by the end of the conversation, I'm like, oh, holy shit, I never thought about it like that. Oh, you're right. I feel so much better. Thank you. And I'm like, I might be in turmoil, but if I'm able to like help other people feel good or confident or
change their perspective. Right. Yeah.
And showing up, purely just showing up, lets other people know they can exist. Like, I'm not a twig, and I'm trying to lean into the whole, well, if someone sees a thick girl up there doing it and is confident enough to, get on stage, that lets other people feel confident in their own skin. It's like, the more, if the rest of us just like lived authentically as ourselves, it gives other people permission to show up and be authentic to themselves. And
that's why comedy makes us feel so good, because we're giving that energy to them, I feel like. And it's like the only charity we can give now at this moment. So it's like, we fucking love that shit.
And well, especially the experience of like people go to shows to laugh, to forget, it's like watching a movie and it's, you just escape reality for a second. Or, I mean, you're talking about real stuff, like, but it's a funny take on it that you're like, oh, holy shit, I can laugh at this experience that's been like making me cry all week long. Like
Yeah.
I've gotten to a place where I can like now make it a joke or laugh and honestly, part of me like relishes the whole like living in disarray at all times because I'm like, well, that's a bit like everything that fucked up that ever happens turns into a joke. So I'm like,
Yeah.
well,
It's made me happier. I've been like almost, I mean, I obviously, like any human, have down days, but it's like comedy has made my life elevate so much better in general with like just I feel good in general every day. I'm like, oh, I get to wake up and make people laugh tonight. Like I can't fucking wait to do that shit. As opposed to like waking up and being like, oh, well, I guess I got to go to work Monday in 2 days. Fucking what am I doing this weekend? Nothing.
I love that. And that's such a good perspective to have. I was stressing this trip so much because it's just like time, energy, somebody watching the dog. There was a fucking hurricane that came through, like Florida and Georgia, and trying to drive down and just where am I going to stay? But like that blind faith just kept leading me that like, I'm in this like middle, not that I'm middle-aged, but like, the kind of middle ground of my life where it's like, you're talking about being a good person and wanting to help people. It's like, I feel like I've put that energy out for so fucking long and I don't even think twice about it. So now when I said people are being nice to me, I'm like, I don't know what to do with this. It's like karma, it's like everything comes full circle, or they say things come back to you in threes because the little that you put out, it's going to come, whether it's good or bad. And so I'm like, holy shit, is this like, because I'm feeling so down on myself, like, why can't I provide or whatever? I'm like, did I provide for myself all along by just not being a shitty person? And now it's paying off. You know what I mean? Like, and I love that perspective, like getting up in the morning and just like being stoked on it because I have just been in anxiety funk, just worrying about the immediate that's right in front of me. But it's like, what's also right in front of me is this freaking show I'm doing tonight. So like, let me be stoked on that for a minute.
Yeah, I'm not perfect. Like, obviously, I still have like days where I'm like, oh, fuck, like had a bad day or bad phone call or something. I'm like, I don't want to do this tonight. But it's like, I feel like I've almost been trying to train myself to think that way, to be like, oh, I'm grateful for this. No matter how much of a shitty day I'm having right now, like, I try to remind myself, like, oh, I got a house, I got a bed to lay in, I can do comedy. Like, I'm happy, I'm good, So
You're absolutely right.
it's hard to think about that when bad, not so great things are happening right in the moment. So I get that.
And I've always philosophy like struggled with the whole, oh, there's people starving in Africa, so your problems aren't that big. Your problems are your problems. It doesn't matter if you stubbed your toe or if you're in financial ruin or someone died. It's like everyone's got their shit, right? But then there is perspective. There is the holy shit, I'm like upset about this thing, but like I years ago would have prayed to be where I am now. And I'm like, so well, they say like mo money, mo problems, which I think Diddy said that, so I don't think I'm allowed to say that anymore. But like, as you level up, you experience different levels of issues because that's just what comes with the territory. We were joking earlier about, yeah, you have a big ass house, well then you got to clean the whole big ass house. You know what I'm saying? Like you just got like that's what comes with it. And so I think, yeah, to look at those problems is like almost a privilege, like that you have those problems because it comes with where you are. And I want to work on being more present so that like I can appreciate things. But I wanted to ask you, how do you get out of a funk? Like if you had a terrible phone call, work, something went bad, how do you get out of a funk before a mic or a show?
I mean, I've been, I used to be not religious at all. I was like almost Satanist pretty much. And I was really depressed for those years that I came to a really low point where I was like this is it. Like, I need something because nothing's helping me right now. I haven't prayed to God since I was a kid, and I don't know what God is. I'm not like a Bible thumper. I'm not like I don't go to church that often, but like, I literally got down on my knees by my bedside right in the other room, and I'm like, I need something. I'm like, I need you. I don't know who I'm talking to. I don't know what you look like, but I found comedy, but I think it was not even like a month later, a few months later. And it's just like ever since that point, I've had this connection with God, whoever, whatever it is. And if I'm having a bad day, that's the first thing I turn to. I'm just like, thank you for everything. I appreciate it. And it's like this weight just gets lifted off my shoulders and I'm able to move past things easier instead of it being like dragging me down all, because I used to, you know, things would hit me, like just even dumb shit. Like I would just like drop pasta on the floor or something stupid,
You're
and
like,
I'd
fuck
be
my life, I'm gonna kill myself. And you're like, it's spaghetti, bro.
just like
yeah,
something
yeah.
stupid. And
Yeah.
and like, or like I'd, you know, little tiff with my husband. We've been together for 10 years. It happens.
Of course.
And I'll sit on it for days, and I'm just like, wait, what am I? Things happen. It's okay to have emotions, but it's just like I have that thing that just helps me lift that weight off my shoulders, and I don't know what it is, but it works. And I don't, you know, I don't have any explanation. I've barely read the Bible. I don't know what's going on, but it works.
But to your point, it doesn't have to be like a Christianity Bible thumping thing. It's like you said, you know, God. I believe. I mean, like I say, I'm into witchy stuff, but it's like I was raised in around church, not so much in my immediate family, which I have a whole bit about that. I say that religion's based on who was offering free childcare at the time. And so my mom's like, oh, we're Baptist because the school bus is coming to pick you up. You know what I mean? Like, so the whole bit on that.
Funny.
But God did, you know, make a presence, especially like with my Catholic grandmother on the other side, you know, who would tell me to, but what's funny, I swear this woman was a witch. She just didn't know it. But she she would tell me to pray to the saints, which like even like witchcraft, you always think, yeah, the devil. It's like, really, no, like you're calling on angels and like saints and stuff. So saints are really, or yeah, I think it was an angel that she would tell me to like pray to or whatever. Like, oh, you know, pray to Archangel Michael. He'll help you find the thing, or Saint Michael, you know, whatever. And so anyway, all of that to say, religion's really tough for people, right?
Yeah.
And like, you know what's fucking funny is the minute I thought of God as a woman, which I think God's genderless and is like just the energy,
an entity or something.
Exactly,
yeah.
this bigger force that's because you co-create, right? There's like what you put in the universe, but then there's all these other things that you can't control, right? So it's like you've got to work with that energy too. And so, yeah, the minute I started thinking though is like, because you know, witchcraft, it's like the mother, you know, like of. I don't know if it's like some people are gonna probably watch this and be like, that's paganism versus witch.
No,
like, I'm just
I
like an
mean,
eclectic, whatever the fuck. But,
I have tarot cards too, so I pray to God and I got tarot cards.
well, not so much that, but I'm saying the elitists who like, well, this is on this category, like the definitions of the sectors or whatever. And I'm like, I just kind of combine it all. You know what I mean? Like I'm very eclectic about it and probably culturally appropriate shit too. But but can you culturally appropriate God? You know what I mean? Like we all have access, you know? So that's a concept. See, that's a bit culturally appropriate God. Like you can't have my God. They're
That's
the same
funny.
fucking one,
That's
bro.
funny.
That is funny. See, now I gotta write this down.
Write it
this
down.
This
Write
is
it
literally
down.
comedy in action. You're like, that's a concept.
I had that happen to me a couple days ago. I had somebody on here last week, and I was just like, I need to write that down. I'm like, wait, I'm recording this.
You're
I can
recording
look
this,
back
you're like,
at
I can
this
look back.
later.
That's so funny. So culturally appropriate God, whatever. But yeah, changing God's gender, I think, helped me feel, especially with sexual liberation and stuff. It's like the male God, the Christian God that we've all learned to fear and stuff is very like judgmental and this and that. It's almost like, yeah, you are a servant. You put your head down, you know, especially women in the Bible. It's like, you're the neck, not the head. You know, you've got to like, you know, you came from Adam. Like, it's just constantly putting down what, you know. So when I think of God as a female, it's like, I feel more empowered. I feel like I can own my sexuality or my just life. It's like, as long as you're a good person, be a good person. You know, it's like, as long as you're not hurting others, like
Just putting positive energy out in the world.
Yeah. But I love the gratitude part of what you're saying too, is like, if you're in a funk, like you turn to being thankful, because gratitude really, I think, is the key to everything. And yeah, that's powerful. That's good.
It's the only thing that helps me move forward. And like, I don't even think of God as any human figure, but it's like almost like God or whatever your energy you're looking at or talking to, it's like can be whatever you want it to be, to make you feel comfortable. Just like you're saying, it empowered you and helps you, you know, just, I feel like just being thankful helps me push forward. So it's just, because if I wasn't, I probably would have quit comedy already. I'm not even going to lie.
For sure. For sure.
Because I've had a lot of times where like things have happened and like people, you know, you hear them talk shit and you hear them say things and I'm just like, oh, I could have let this get to me real easy, real quick. But I mean, I feel like everything I'm glad the faith was placed back in my life before I started comedy, because without it, I probably would have already just faltered and quit, and who knows where I'd be.
I love that you bring that up because, every award show under the sun, whether it's athletes or musicians or whatever, it's like, first I'd like to thank God. And you're always like, eye roll, like, okay, But truly, though, because like everything we talked about, this different kind of lifestyle, like I remember this interview that stuck out to me when Beyonce was talking about like being on the road for Thanksgiving. She's like, I ate a turkey sandwich in the airport with my mom. Like that was Thanksgiving. She's like, you sacrifice so much for your friends and family to then be able to give back to your friends and family. She eventually got to a point where, she could probably tell us when Thanksgiving's going to be, she's like, nope, it's going to be in May this year. You know what I mean? Beyonce runs the world. But, point is like, yeah, you have to have so much faith to keep up with things when it is hard and it is a grind. And I told you earlier, it's like, that is what I've been operating on, is like blind faith these last few months. I know things are going to work out. I've been like tarot cards, signs, whatever. It's like, I constantly am reassured it's going to get better. It just hasn't just shown up for me on a plate yet. But a lot of times, again, these struggles, whether it shows up in a bit or it's a lesson you need to learn, it's like those things exist for a reason. And yeah, I think you have to have faith in something beyond yourself sometimes, because when you lose faith in yourself, what else are you going to turn to?
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
exactly.
Like, so
that's where I was before I started comedy. Don't want to go back there ever. Yeah, but no, that's pretty much all I do is just try to be thankful, and that's all that's helped me is just keep pushing. So, yeah.
I love that. I love how emotional we got, but this is so good.
No, it's good. It's good. This is
it.
great. This was like pretty much like kind of like a good last minute thing because I got somebody else coming over later too. But I'm so glad we got to do this.
This was awesome. Yeah. And you really did like kind of reframe some things for me too, because I'm just like, you know what? I should be more grateful. Like I need to be, and I am. I'm grateful for like, again, the room last night and then like, hanging out with you and just people being kind, is like, I'm just, that exists. So find more of that and put more attention on that, so.
I still have to remind myself too. So I still have days, but I appreciate you coming here.
Thank you for having me.
You have any shows or anything upcoming you want to shout out?
Well, by the time this airs, I think it'll be over. So I'm doing, the Orlando shows this weekend, and then Tuesday I'm gonna be back in Melbourne, and then I've got like my mic going on at Dynamic El Dorado in Atlanta, and hopefully some more exciting things in the near future. So, which
is really fun. Your mic was awesome. I love the feeling. I was
gonna ask, what was your impression of it?
I loved it. So it reminds me of one of our local mics we have at Beachside Retro.
Okay,
and it's like almost like a bunch of comics there. Like everybody's having it, like going on stage. Like I love the back and forth, and like it gave me that like hometown family comedy type feel that I love it so much. And when I came to yours, I was like, God, this is awesome. But I love how tight the room is. I love the setup. It's like the stage is great. Good lights in there. I like how it's dark in the back. And it was fun. I had a fun fucking time up there.
The owner keeps moving the sound booth around, and now it's like next to the stage. But the God mic is so funny to me because I've never had that before to like bring people up, from the sound booth, so people so originally I was going up in between every set and like grabbing the mic, but that takes up so much time, and like it's a dark room going up and down stairs, whatever. So like the God mic is fun to like play on sometimes though. So,
yeah.
Okay. I'm glad you had fun.
Check it out, everybody. Check out the mic. Yeah. But okay. Your Instagram if you want to shout it out.
I've got two which are open to everybody. At official Shannon Kelly. That's selfies and dog pics. And then there's Shannon Kelly Comedy is my comedy stuff, and it's Kelly. Don't be putting EY because people be getting crazy.
All right. Well, that's it. Thanks, Shannon Kelly.
Thank you, Alex.
She keep working that back and I'm about to throw the